Almost all blogs allow you to leave comments, and those comments allow you, with your name, to link back to your own website. So that's kind of a standard way of rewarding people who interact with your blog or your web presence. You give them a link back to their site. Link exchanges used to work really, really well. Don't work as well now. There's kind of two types. One where you get emails from people saying, hello, I found your website, would you like to link to us? We'll link to you. The traffic there is kind of a secondary thing. The main thing people normally wanting to do there is, if you swap links, obviously you gain extra links to your website, Google could see this, counts it as another vote, if you like. Three-way linking is kind of more widely used nowadays, which is, if you have three websites, you email someone and say, would you like to link to my website A? If you do that, I'll link to you from my website C. So there's no direct relationship there. And the reason people do that is Google's quite aware if website A links to B and B links to A, then they probably talk to each other, and it's probably not a natural kind of citation, so it doesn't really count as a vote. So a lot of reciprocal linking nowadays is kind of discounted by Google, and especially if you go overboard. The odd one's fine, because it does of course happen naturally. But if you've, say, got a links page with 300 links on it, and all those 300 websites link back to you, it's going to look fishy.
Can I just ask a question there, Mark? I had the bizarrest, one of the bizarrest emails recently since we set up my site, and it was from some firm renting log cabins in Western Canada, asking if I could link my site to their site. Mm-hmm. Is that what they were doing? Is it just that they're sending out thousands of requests to new websites? There's
quite a few tools which will try and discover websites that are related. So you can say, can you find me websites to do with log cabins or Canada, for instance? Yes. And it will bring back this huge list, and then it will automatically email them.
You might have thought I was connected with log cabins in Canada, I have no idea. But
you might have the word Canada on one of your blog posts or log or... but that's generally how they work. The important thing is, if you do get people to link to your website, they need to be relevant. So if I'm running my website selling t-shirts, so I'm selling my vintage Elvis t-shirts, I don't want loads of links from mobile ringtone websites, because Google can see mobile phones have absolutely nothing to do with t-shirts. But it does get really clever if I've got a website about the Iberian Peninsula, and then someone from selling or renting out villas in Spain emails me. Google knows, although there's no direct match in the actual words, it knows that the Iberian Peninsula and Spain are connected. So it's really clever like that. Natural citations is when people reference your material. So if I'm writing a forum post, or I've got that later, if I'm writing a blog post or a page on my website, and I want to reference some content you've got on your website, that's one of the best types of links you can get. You've got news and kind of PR releases, so again, if any kind of news sites cover you and link to you, that's the type of link you can get. Forums/social links is if you participate in forums, you can obviously post links in forums when it's relevant to your website. And same with social websites that I've got a couple of examples later of them. And widget links is kind of a newer thing, which is a lot of people are producing kind of applications on their website which you can put on your own. So for instance, I've seen one recently which was a calorie counter. So you can put in, I've done 20 minutes of running today, hit calculator and say you've burned 20 million calories or whatever. And then it will say to you, if you want this on your website, just copy and paste it. So you go, oh brilliant, I have this on my website, it's really cool. You copy and paste it, but it actually includes as well a link back to where it came from. So you think, brilliant, I've got 5,000 people using my calorie counter. What you've actually achieved is you've got 5,000 links to your website. And it's essentially absolutely fine because you've produced that content or that tool and people are using it and crediting you for it. So that leads me to marketing on the web in terms of search marketing. So if you've produced content, you've produced the most amazing, brilliant content, okay? Nobody's linking to you because they don't know it exists yet. So you need to try and get people to link to that content. These are 3 examples of different types of social sites. Dig.com is a social news website. It gets 80 million visitors a month. And what happens is users submit web pages, news stories, pictures, really anything they find on the internet that's kind of newsy, and other users vote on it. And the highest voted items go onto the front page, which obviously gives you massive amounts of traffic. If your story gets on the front page of Dig, it wouldn't be outlandish to say you'd get somewhere between 250,000 and 500,000 visitors over the next few hours. So it drives massive amounts of traffic. Facebook, which I assume most people have heard of, is a slightly different. It's a social networking site. Also allows people to form connections, message each other, share photos, that kind of thing. I think it's around, probably more now, probably guess around 180 million visitors every month. And lastly, Stumble Upon is again slightly different. That's a social bookmarking website, and rather than bookmarking in the traditional sense, so you go to a website you like, you say, oh, I really like this, I'll add it to my bookmarks. You can actually now vote for a web page. So you find a page you like, say brilliant, and it comes with kind of a little toolbar that goes on the browser with a thumbs up and thumbs down. So if you like something, you click on thumbs up, and it'll ask you if it hasn't been voted on before to put it into a category. Okay? Now, the secret there is, you've also got a button which says Stumble, and you click on that, and when you sign up, it asks you what kind of things you're interested in. And it will then take you to a highly voted on website within your interests. So it's kind of a discovery mechanism. Rather than going to Google and you've gone one step ahead of awareness, you're doing research on something, this takes you back to the awareness stage, but it shows you things that are definitely good because they've been voted on and are within your interests. If you get voted highly on Stumble, you'd probably look at between 60 to 80,000 visitors a day while your page is popular on there. So, why would we use these things? I've been talking a lot about links. Okay, at the moment, the users of these communities, maybe less so Facebook, but definitely Dig and Stumble, are kind of early adopters. They're people who are generally quite tech savvy, and they're very likely to either participate in forums also, or have their own websites or blogs. Therefore, if you provide these people content that they like, you'll very likely get a link from it. So, for instance, I've done articles on Dig before. We've got to the front page, we've driven 250,000 visitors, and from that we get 900 people linking to us. And if you consider how long it would take to even, say, manually ask 900 people, which is kind of a year, that amount of marketing and the types of link you're getting as well that we mentioned earlier, very organic, natural links. It's the best kind of SEO you can do in terms of you're providing good content and you're finding a kind of vile method of promoting it. So it's back to, I hate to repeat slides, but it's back to this one. We've produced content, and what we've done is we've marketed it specifically to people we know who can link to it, which may seem kind of different from regular marketing or traditional marketing, which kind of goes on, we need to identify our target audience and we'll profile them and we'll market this message specifically to them. In search marketing, it's kind of, we look at it this way of, okay, we need links, what content we can do that's relevant to us, and how do we market people who can give us the currency, basically the internet, which is links. Because if I can interest them, my own readers will find me because they're using Google anyway. That is the end of my presentation. I've kept it fairly basic. We've touched on a few things there, obviously because there's different levels of understanding in the room. Some of you may be quite au fait with what I'm talking about, others it might be the first time. So if anyone wants to ask any questions or talk to me about algorithmic language processing, I'd love to. You can go ahead. If not,
if your website is hosted with wearecompletelyrubbish.com and crashes a lot, and basically that, and then you transfer it to wearefunkyorspangly.com, and they're much better, more lifetime, will that help you with your ranking?
Yes. In short, yes. The reason is when Google visits your website, if, say, I've been going to your website for 6 months and 20% of the time I can't access your website because it's down or it's not working, I'm going to say, well, do I really want to send traffic who's relying on me to give them good content if 20% of the time they're going to be hit with nothing? So you can lose rankings for downtime if it's over a elongated period. If your server crashes and you're down for a couple of days, that's fine. It's more if it's very sporadic. If you do transfer, Google is really smart. It will actually see that you've moved server as well, so you'll kind of get a second chance if you like. But yes, it's definitely something you want to make sure.
You will get a bit of a hit by moving anyway, and then hopefully you'll.
If you don't change domain name, you shouldn't get a hit. It depends as well if you're going to a dedicated or shared server. If you go onto a shared server, say with me, and I'm spamming the hell out of everything, Google might not like that server because I'm kind of ruining the reputation. Whereas hopefully if you've got your own dedicated server with your own kind of IP and everything, then it's just yours, then yeah, you're absolutely fine. There shouldn't be any sort of downtime on it. Any questions on anything we went through?
Yes, please. You mentioned 3 there, Dig, Facebook and StumbleUpon.
Yes.
You mentioned several others to me, including Technorati. Can you remind me what the difference is between that and these?
Technorati is a website which is essentially a type of vertical search. It searches one element of the internet. Technorati is something I spoke to Simon about, and he's got his very shiny, brilliant new blog. Simon, what Technorati does is it indexes just blogs. So blogs provide kind of different content to standard websites. They tend to be more informational rather than salesy. So if you want to just search for blogs, Technorati is something you might use. Google also have their own blog search as well, which is google.co/blog search. These types of social networks are kind of horses for courses. For instance, dig.com, the type of audience that goes there is basically geeks like me. So the type of news that goes popular on Dig will be stuff like anything about Apples or iPods, left-wing political stuff, or kind of gadgety stuff. So if anything on your website falls into that, I'll say to you, brilliant, it's an article, we'll put it on Dig. StumbleUpon is really popular for essentially more humorish, more humour kind of stuff, or web tools. So each of these different platforms for social marketing have their own groups. Because if I join Facebook, I'm quite likely to try and get my friends or people I know to join, and they're likely to have similar interests. So you get clusters of people on the internet. So part of what we do as well, and part of the skill of being an online marketer, is being able to successfully identify where all these different kind of social groups hang out, how your content fits in, if any, and where it fits in and how to market it to them.
So thank you. The Technorati thing, unlike Dig, where you have to sort of keep putting up new content, that you need a new page, new article, new subject.
Yeah.
With Dig, am I right in thinking that once you put your website there, you don't have to do anything else?
That's right. Yeah, because most blogs have your RSS feed, which basically syndicates your content, and by that it means that other users or other websites can take your content. So Technorati literally just takes all these feeds from blogs and puts them into sort of one big main place and lets you search through them and categorise them.
So that's the kind of one process activity.
Exactly, yeah.
Whereas with Dig,